Councilmember Stratton, Councilmember Mumm is just going to be joining a little bit late, and Councilmember Burke is still trying to get in, but we are ready to go here in council chambers.
Perfect, thank you. Council President Beggs, did you want to lead us off?
No, I'm just, well, yes, maybe I will. So welcome. This is the last committee meeting day of the year, and we've kind of combined two committees because PIES would have been between Christmas and New Year's, and instead of doing a separate meeting this morning, Councilmember Stratton let us join her agenda, Urban Experience, and so Councilmember Stratton's going to be leading the meeting, and I'm pleased to be of assistance if needed. But with that, we'll just, I guess, so we're just doing approval of minutes for Urban Experience. We'll take up the PIES later. So I'll turn it over to you, Councilmember Stratton, to start with your approval of the minutes.
Perfect, thank you. So let's do that. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of November 8th?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I'm seconding it. Aye.
Okay, I'm sorry. Any opposed? Okay, so the minutes have passed, and I see Councilmember Burke has joined us. Welcome. And we will wait for, or Councilmember Mumm will be with us in just a moment. So we're going to get started. We have a full agenda, and I've even got a little timer with me, so I'll be trying to keep people as much on time as I possibly can. And I'm going to move the agenda around a little bit. And is Tanya Wallace? Tanya, are you on? Okay, I see her. Tanya, I would like to start with the state auditor's exit report. And I have that down for 20 minutes. So if you want to get us started, that would be great. I take, Tanya, are you there? Okay, so we will move that to second. Next, I'm going to go to Eric Finch. If you want, Eric, we could do the Family Promise Emergency Shelter, the Guardians Project, and the YWCA Safe Shelter all together, and that gives you about 10, 15 minutes. If you can do it in that time, that'd be great.
Sure. Thank you, Councilmember Stratton, and good, happy Monday to all the council members and staff and all the rest of us. I just want to kind of, brief an update. This is really the same information that we provided last week as it relates to shelter system improvements that we've been looking to do, and we had an RFP out, as of about 4 weeks ago. And this basically, these three strategies add, a total of 40 hoteling type space solutions. They add an additional 10 individual space solutions, at Open Doors. They add 190 nights for women or families escaping domestic violence. And it adds 19 spaces for families, with Family Promise. So it is kind of like that tiered strategy that we've been discussing for the past few weeks in terms of addressing first those areas that had the most shortages that we saw in the system in terms of capacity. And I think they're good solutions that went through basically, the COVID RFP review and got, I think, thumbs up from that review set of review committees. And I just wanted to remind, all that RFP is actually still it's an open and ongoing RFP where we continue to look at shelter solutions to improve the overall, I think, density and capacity of our shelters. So these are the first three, and certainly recommend approval. And happy to answer any questions.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Eric, thanks for that. And I'm sponsoring that, so I'm obviously in support. We have a situation out in front of City Hall right now. Are those folks eligible for what we're talking about?
They are a council member in part, and so I think that, like all things, there's a number of different stories there in terms of individuals, and so we are looking at how we kind of match. And I sit down with the Homeless Coalition leadership tomorrow, to talk with them about how we can kind of get increasingly more creative on solutions. I think part of the challenge is if we're looking for larger density of numbers, well, then we're certainly not there yet. And as I think I've expressed with many of you, we continue to look at those solutions, but finding large spaces is always the biggest challenge. And so we continue to look at that, and we continue to try to get innovative in terms of how we can leverage the spaces we have as well as new spaces. But there isn't necessarily something that's going to, it's not a light switch that we can turn on for 200 new spaces tomorrow. So I think that in some cases, what's outside is a protest, and certainly understand that. And the other part is, how do we kind of link them into services and capacity that isn't existing? And over the past few nights, just interesting enough, there's been capacity, in the shelter system that exists, including low barrier. So I will continue that conversation with them through tomorrow morning in terms of trying to link up, those current solutions with the concerns they have.
If I could follow up, could you please keep us in the loop on that? And I would also add that there are dozens and dozens of people camping along the river. And Jacoby and I had a conversation with a woman who lives in Peaceful Valley that she said it is extreme. And that is an out of sight, out of mind problem or situation that we need to address as well. That is not a safe place for people to camp, especially women. So I'm concerned that we're dealing with what's right in front of us and overlooking what is not right in front of us. So I would hope that you would address that as well.
Yes, Councilman Kinnear, this is not just about what's outside City Hall. I mean, I think that the good and bad news, of this is that I think these three improvements that we have, before you, they add those 70 or 80, and again, and certainly in some of the least capacity areas like women and families, as you mentioned. But it doesn't necessarily, buy us the couple hundred additional other spaces that might be necessary that we are also looking at. Again, it is always a difficult situation to try to plan for those larger groups and those larger numbers, but that is something that I am actively doing.
Councilmember Wilkerson, then Council President Begg.
Thank you. I'll keep it short because you got a timer. So, Eric, I'm just interested in, I know that last year hoteling was the most expensive form of housing, and that was in many cases not the best solution, and it had its own problems. Did we as a city ever get any feedback or report on really how effective that was to the people who were served in those environments?
Well, I think that's a really good question, and Councilman Wilkerson, I'm not sure I know the full answer to it, but I certainly can try to ask some questions and round out my knowledge and pass it on. What I've heard anecdotally is that did it get a roof over someone's head and cold weather issues? Certainly, it met that gate. Did it do as good a job as maybe some of our other shelters or providers at providing the wraparound services? I think the answer to that is probably no. And I think we have to figure out how to better connect. I mean, to me, it's a little bit more of a stopgap than obviously a longer-term solution.
And the transportation to these hotelings, that'll be provided by the Guardians? Because I'm sure they're probably not in the downtown core.
Yes. I mean, yes, it is. I mean, there's a couple different transportation options with the Guardians in their van. There is kind of like some Uber dollar contracts that are out there. We're also actively working between the DSP and STA on kind of adding some other options there, including some more or less dedicated service, especially between certain areas. So we're looking at all those options. Again, I think the challenge with all of this, in full respect to those those outside or elsewhere that have a voice, and others have seen that we've seen these impacts for obviously some time. These solutions are not quick to solve. we will continue to work on them. And I think that I look forward to bringing you, other, I think, good solutions over the next, month or so to help, continue to build out the shelter process.
Yes, Eric, thanks for bringing these forward, and we are going to likely vote to suspend the rules so that we can consider the funding this evening and just get these dollars out there and get people housed. But I'm wondering if you or someone else on your staff can just give us a thumbnail sketch of how someone would access this. So the Guardians have their hotel. Family Promise sounds like they have actual beds somewhere. YWCA, it was a little unclear of how that. So how would somebody access for those three aspects of the program that we're looking at tonight?
Thank you, Council President. And I think the default is they leverage kind of the current systems and processes they have. And that was certainly one of the things we were trying to leverage, so that it kind of kept things more the same versus adding something new or different. I think that for the hoteling piece specifically, since we're always been kind of maxing capacity, through the Cannon and Shelter and Guardians, that's kind of an immediate kind of pressure relief if you can, or at least they can add, the additional 20 spaces now and 40 spaces ultimately after the approval of this, that basically, so as people check in there, or go through intake during the day, it allows them to go past that 80 number, right? That's just capacity at the local shelter. So that's primarily how that part of it works. On the the families, there's a good family subsystem to the shelter environment, as I think you probably know. And there's great email communication that goes between all the providers, literally, every hour it seems, especially in cold weather, conditions. So that's usually how that lash up occurs. The YWCA, again, it's usually through their kind of crisis hotline and crisis center that they usually navigate that. But I'd have to get some more details for there. Interestingly enough, in some of the kind of homeless coalition, as well as other dialogue that we're having on the advisory council, there's a discussion about do we need to have, I think, a little bit better navigation capability. So that someone in the system potentially can look at all the different or have a better idea about the entire system and how to navigate it. So that's something that again, we're going to be looking at as an option to see how that would fit. And that would be, again, something that maybe we would do an RFP and bring some expertise in to do, from our provider system.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, thank you. Eric, I'm just wondering what's been our average nightly bed availability since the protest started outside, and then how many more beds will this contribute to the overall system once these three items are adopted and implemented?
So, I mean, it varies, of course, every day, right? Just based on choice and decisions. One of the artificial pressures, that at least in the dates that you mentioned, was that House of Charities was closed due to norovirus, right? And they were, finally reopened on Friday and could start taking people. And so, all talking low barrier is one thing. And there's probably been about 30 just in terms of the adult males. It's been very, very slim or zero for women individually. And then co-ed for Cannon, but I think there was 17 to 20 on the family space availability, and then I think almost 30 I think on the young adult side. And so we looked in the system to see is there anyone that could be shifted to the young adult side to also free up other pressure, and that had already largely been done. The providers really work amongst themselves pretty well. So I think there was some capacity, but it's certainly not enough to look at maybe an entire camp, whether it's one here, whether it's, the one down, by the river or anywhere else in our city, and be able to kind of potentially take all the steps that you would want to. But there has been, some numbers. And interestingly enough, that's going to be one of the conversation points with the Homeless Coalition and leadership tomorrow, is why is there a debate on some of the numbers, so we can kind of maybe get to ground truth in terms of and build trust in whatever the numbers are and how they get developed. So I think that will be a good conversation to have. And to your other question, then this will add the spaces I mentioned. It's 190 domestic violence nights So it really is depends on what the need is. And then it's 40 low barrier space, actually 50, a total of 50, 40 in a hotel and 10 in open doors for individuals. And then the 19 family spaces. So still have some work to do. Still have some work to do as it relates. Obviously for women, the way we've staged this in terms of hoteling or otherwise is that there would be a priority, if you will, in terms of selection for women or for families. Family space, I think, is looking okay right now. It's women that we're most concerned about. So that's where we would orient that, but that goes pretty fast. Literally by 3:05, they start doing their check-in at 3 for Canada, and by 3:05, 3:10, they're usually booked there. So we're still obviously have some work to do in terms of how we can create additional density, but there has been some capacity.
Last comment on your note about the numbers and everybody being on the same page. I think if we could just get that public-facing database stood up and get our providers to update that, on a regular basis every night, I think that would put us all on the same page, and there wouldn't be any confusion. And frankly, it'd probably reduce quite a bit of the drama that exists as well. So if we could look to do that, I think that'd be really great.
Thank you, and it is something we're actively looking at. So thank you, Councilmember.
I will note, Councilmember Mumm has joined us. It's good to see your face, Candace. I'll go ahead and close this out by just saying, Eric, that I was down this weekend kind of checking things out with the campers around City Hall. The only suggestion that I had was what a great opportunity it would be to have some folks, some navigators in that crowd of folks interviewing and looking at needs and where those fits are for the various kinds of shelter opportunities that are out there. I don't know if that would be volunteers or where we could, I would volunteer to do something like that. If we're going to have them there, that's just a great opportunity to get some of that information, to get them housed or get them somewhere safe. So keep that in mind.
Thank you, Councilmember Stratton. And yes, that is something that we're looking at too. I mean, and these are usually things that are done by our providers, and just the way it's set up now, it's kind of at their location versus street engagement per se. We're looking at all options because again, it's not just that. I think we all know the negative effects that come through the camping piece of it, not necessarily just outside here. And we've got to figure out, I think, those broader solutions. While at the same time, making sure that there's kind of the safety and all the other things in place, and sustainability, which obviously camping doesn't necessarily provide.
Right. Well, thank you. And if you need help, let me know, because I might be able to get some folks that wouldn't mind, walking around with a clipboard and asking questions, and just to get that information, because it's important to get them somewhere where it's warm and safe.
Yeah, no, and I think that would be a good thing to do all around. And it's hard, council members, because I think one of the challenges is that we know there's different categories, and some people are making choices. And I would just always want to suggest that if we can get the folks the help that are really want it, need it, looking for it, are at that right stage. And then hopefully make sure that because to me that would be, I would want to think the lower hanging fruit, and then as we have the tougher conversations, right, about those that are maybe exercising a choice, or whether they're impaired to make a choice, I think those are always the more difficult conversations that we might have to have, and certainly there's weaknesses in the system, especially for diversion or otherwise, that we'll have to look at systemically. And again, we're committed to doing this. It's just, some of these things are not going to be quick solutions, and I know that causes a current strain, but it is, I would just suggest that we plan correctly so we do not have to keep reacting, because that's certainly what I've heard from all of you, and I would say is that you're going to get us to the better place.
Well, thank you for jumping in and making a difference, because you are, and we appreciate all your hard work. So thank you, Eric.
Thank you for the support on these and the confirmation.
Perfect. Thank you. Garrett Jones, are you out there? I can't see you.
I am here.
Okay, Garrett, you're going to talk about a holiday parks update.
Yeah.
It'll be really exciting. It's going to get us all ready and excited for Christmas. And you got 10 minutes.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. And I just want to thank the council again for another great year and support, and wish all of you a happy holidays. And just wanted to give you just a quick update on all what we're doing in Parks and Recreation of really trying to spread that cheer. And first piece starts with light shows. One of the ones that we're doing this year that we did last year, we wanted to modify and make it even better, is what we call the Holiday Tree Walk. And this is a nonprofit that we partner with 40 nonprofits across the city, and they sponsor their trees and really share their great message of what they're doing in the community. And we'll have these trees underneath the pavilion and also in the admin space of the pavilion through January 2nd. Second, too, is we actually modified and built on what we did last year during COVID of what we call the Trail of Lights in Riverfront Park. Of, again, just providing this happy atmosphere downtown. And so, it includes our Candy Cane Lane along the Howard Street Promenade, a light tunnel for the historic Blue Bridge, also different uplights and spotlights on trees to really just, again, add that cheer. And again, this gives us some great thoughts too on, one of my dreams is how could we have this like little sparkle at every community park, in the future to give just something that shares that happiness. Here's just a couple shots of Riverfront Park and the activation that's happening down there, which is really phenomenal of what our staff is doing. And again, this is another special one as well. Partner every year with the KXLY Extreme team at Cowley Park, just in the shadow of the Children's Hospital. And again, this is just, for those families and those kiddos that are not able to spend the holidays with their family or go see Santa at the mall. So how can we share that joy and cheer for these little kiddos and patients alike at the hospital? And just so the council knows as well, we're doing 2 other specialty master plans in our update, and one of them is Minnehaha, the other one is Meadow Glen in District 3. And we just passed this last week that Cowley Park is going to be one of those in District 2. Whether it's outreach, how do we look at healthy communities? How do we even look at what we call as Park RX? So it's working with our doctors and physicians to actually prescribe you going outside and enjoying your park, whether it's for mental or physical health. And then how can we celebrate the children and patients alike 365 days a year? So that is something, too, that we're enhancing on and looking forward to in the future. The other one, too, is the Manitou Holiday Lights. This kicked off this last Friday. I had the great opportunity of greeting everyone as they came in Friday night, and smiles on everybody's faces. And I just want to appreciate the great events team that we have, the police department, and our staff and volunteers and the Friends of Manitou for listening last year and then adapting. And we put in some new protocols and measures around traffic control, condensing the hours, adding walk-up days. And we could really see those benefits this weekend in helping with some of that congestion and the time that it took to stay in line. And working, too, with the partners, Providence Healthcare stepped up, Wagstaff, and also Washington Trust Bank donated some funds. We were able to add lighting and really then go back to investing into Manitou Park in the future. So we have QR codes out there, too, and we've been able to get quite a bit of cash donations to the Friends of Manitou. And that, in turn, just helps us be able to reinvest back into Manitou Park. So then that takes some pressure off of our resources, so then we can use those resources in all the other wonderful neighborhood parks. And here's some still shots. We did get a little bit of snow. And then downtown, this was another just kind of great idea and dream that we did during COVID. But our winter market is back, another one of those activation pieces, and that'll be every Wednesday. That was through November and December this month. And, a variety between 20 and 40 vendors, small business owners that are able to come down to Riverfront Park and be able to really share the great goods and products that they have for this community. The other two is the Wheatland Bank sponsored. We have carriage rides every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Fridays is 3 to 8 downtown, and then Saturdays and Sundays starts at noon. And then this is in partnership with the downtown Spokane. And then our ice ribbon, of course, thank goodness, it got a little bit cooler. The 60-degree weather and the rain and the wind put us back a few days. But it's great to see. I mean, this Saturday and Sunday, the ice ribbon was packed. Friday night, we had a DJ down there playing some music to really attract some of the youth. And we have weekly specials, Cheapskate Tuesdays, food deals. And so it's great to see this space activated this time of year, where last year during COVID, we had that delay until after the holidays. So it's great to see this happen before the holidays. And lastly, recreation. We just hit the press and sent out our winter activity guide, and our staff does a great job partnering with so many different organizations and finding recreation opportunities for every skill level, whether it's martial arts, esports, or photography classes, cooking classes. So that is launched and has been greatly successful thus far. One thing we are hoping for is just a little bit more snow for some of those winter activities, like the snowshoe tours that we do, the youth winter adventure camps. And then we have what we call no school day camps as well. If you have a snow day, then our staff is prepared to be able to provide those type of activities for the youth if you don't have school. And then also, too, we partner with Riverside State Park and also our golf courses. So our golf courses, we will groom the trails, and we have a hotline on our website that you can call for the conditions of the trails. Once we get some of that white stuff on the ground, we'll be able to start grooming. And we've seen a lot of success of having that multi-use on our golf courses in the winter months and also in the spring. Fireworks, bringing them back. We are going to have the big fireworks show December 31st, New Year's Eve, down in Riverfront Park with a lot of other activities. So the festivities will happen during the day and then be more geared towards the family-oriented side. We'll have the big fireworks show that will be shot off at 9 p.m. New Year's Eve. And with that, is there any questions?
Does anybody have any questions at all? Councilmember Kinnear.
Did you see my lilac wave? Yeah.
It took me a minute, but I did see it.
Okay. So Garrett, you know what? You've done a fabulous job. I commend you. And it's all of those activities are popular. My ask is next year we spread the love to some of the other parks. And I know this is a fundraiser for the Friends of Manitou. I get that. If it were just a walkthrough or mostly a walkthrough, I think it would be less of a burden on the neighborhood and certainly less of a carbon footprint, having people idling for, half hour or so as they drive through. And it would be nice to identify other parks, either in Councilmember Stratton or Councilmember Cathcart's jurisdiction, where people don't have to drive, but that was right in their neighborhood and they could just walk there. So that is my ask. Otherwise, great job. Kudos to you. And I can't think of a better way to celebrate the season, regardless of how you celebrate it. Lights are always appreciated, so thank you.
Well, thank you, Councilmember Kinnear. Great suggestions. And we'll continue to work with the neighborhood as well and continue to adapt too. Nothing's set in stone. We'll see how the walkthrough event goes to this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But it's all to our team. We have a great team, so I appreciate the comments. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Garrett, as always, we appreciate everything you do, and please tell your team as well that were it not for them, we wouldn't be seeing all this beauty around the community right now. So we appreciate their hard work as well, and thank you. Okay, so we've got a quick update on the STA contract. Is that going to be Megan? Is that going to be you? Okay.
It is, yep.
Go ahead and take it over, and I got you down for about 5 minutes.
Perfect, thank you. I am bringing forward the 2022 contract with STA for the Universal Transit Action Pass, or UTAP. This is a program that allows city employees to utilize their city IDs to ride the STA for free throughout the city. We've had this program since 2012. It's just in a rolling annual contract, so this is just a renewal for that. This program allows the city to comply with our commute trip reduction requirements. We also see it as a recruiting and a retention benefit. As we all know, parking, especially around City Hall, is a premium. And by providing this pass, it does allow employees another alternative for using one of the park and rides or parking at another city location and riding the bus downtown. It's helping to minimize congestion and, again, the parking mitigation downtown. The more people that we can have do commute, alternative commutes, the better. With that, hopefully this is a fairly well-known program throughout the city, but I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you. You're on mute.
Megan, thank you so much for the update. If anybody has questions, I'll have them ask you directly via email or something. But yeah, we appreciate the program. It's a good program, and hopefully we'll continue it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so I'll go back up to State Auditor's report, exit report. And I have Tanya Wallace down as presenting.
Well, it's very close. I am going to introduce. It's very good to see all of you council members. I'm going to introduce Tara Alfano from the State Auditor's Office, and you should have received a package. And she's going to walk through the exit interview with all of you. So with that, I'll turn it over to Tara.
And Tara, I've got us down for 20 minutes.
Okay, sounds great. We should be able to make that. So
perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Let me start presenting my screen here, and I'll get us started. Just 1 second here. Okay. So today we'll actually be exiting your single audit, giving you those audit results. And I have on the call with me Alicia Shaw. So we're both from your local audit team. I'm sure you guys are familiar with us. You've seen us present a few times. So today we're presenting, like I said, the single audit results. We already presented the financial statement results at the November Finance Committee. So after today's meeting, we'll be able to publish both reports. So your financial statement and federal grant compliance audit reports. So let's move on here. So we do have your federal grant compliance audit results for fiscal year 2020. We're pleased to report that we do have an unmodified clean audit opinion for your major programs that we audited this year. Our audit was performed in accordance with uniform guidance, which requires us to gain an understanding of the internal controls related to the different grant compliance requirements for the major programs that we look at. So you'll see that we noted no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses in those controls. We did, however, note we did identify some instances of noncompliance in the Coronavirus Relief Fund, and I'll pass that on to Alicia here in just a minute to go over that piece. So for 2020, we looked at 3 different programs. So we looked at the Emergency Solutions Grant Program, which included also the COVID-19 funding. So we audited that program together. And then we also looked at the Home Investment Partnership Program and then the COVID-19 Coronavirus Relief Fund. These 3 programs together approximated 44% of the total federal expenditures for the city for 2020. So that coverage gave us enough coverage to meet the federal grant requirements for your 2020 audit. And with that, I'm going to pass it on to Alicia to go over the coronavirus relief funds, and she'll finish it up for us.
Thank you, Tara.
And all this information you can find in that packet that we did provide. And the finding actually is presented, it starts in the packet on page 5.
Alicia, you're really quiet.
Oh, no.
If it's just on my end.
Can anybody hear me speaking?
It is just a little quiet.
Just quiet.
It got a little better.
Okay, how about I just speak really loud? Is that better? This is not awkward on my end at all.
That's better.
Okay, I'll speak as loud as I can. So the finding does begin on page 5 in your packet. We, as Tara said, we audited the Coronavirus Relief Fund, and during the course of that audit, we evaluated controls and compliance over the program. We did not identify any deficiencies, such as significant deficiencies or material weaknesses with the program. We actually determined that the city materially complied with the terms of the program. What we did find was question costs, and because the question cost exceeded $25,000, uniform guidance requires that we issue that in a finding. So under this program, it was a change in guidance that occurred. So the city actually entered into an agreement with the Department of Commerce in March of 2020. That agreement allowed the city to charge indirect costs to the grant of up to 10%. The city ended up not charging indirect costs. However, they did enter into agreements with their subrecipients that allowed the subrecipients to charge the indirect costs. So they were basically passing on what they saw in their agreements onto their subrecipients. And the issue came about because on September 2nd, 2020, the U.S. Department of Treasury changed its guidance related to indirect costs and basically disallowed those costs going forward on that date and going forward after that date. So Department of Commerce updated its guidance and sent an email out to all of its subrecipients, including the city of Spokane, with the change being that if you had submitted reimbursement for any indirect costs on or after September 2nd, entities were required to correct their reimbursement request and resubmit to Commerce to reduce those costs so that they were not claiming those costs that are now unallowable. Because of this, that email was overlooked for that guidance change, and as a result, the city ended up charging just over $87,000 in indirect costs related to its subrecipients' reimbursements, which is a small amount compared to the $11.8 million that was spent under the program, but because it does exceed $25,000, that's what caused the finding. So we did work with the city on this, and they included a response to the finding as well that you can see in your packet. And then we also included the laws and regulations that we audited too. And overall, the recommendation is just that the city should monitor federal program guidance and any changes that occur to that guidance. And if there's any changes that need to happen to reimbursement requests, that those corrections are made to make sure no unallowable costs are charged to the grant. Are there any questions on the finding?
I can't see everybody, so if you have a question, just yell it out.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the audit reports will be published in about 1 to 2 weeks, which will include that audit finding as well. And they'll be published on our website, but there will also be a notification sent out to our audit liaison that indicates that this report is being published. And then the city can also sign up to receive those notifications about posting of reports to our website. In addition, I'll be working with the audit liaison at the city to complete the data collection form, which is the final document that we need to complete to submit to the federal government to close out the single audit. And then when that report is published, members from the city will receive an audit survey from our office, and we really appreciate any feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. We appreciate any feedback that the city may have about the audit process. We always strive to do the best we can in our customer service role here. So, and then we really want to thank those staff that we worked with at the city and the city officials. for assistance, cooperation, and professionalism throughout the audit process, and providing the records as timely as possible so that we could complete the audit. So thank you again for all your time and effort spent towards working with us during the audit. Are there any questions?
Anybody out there have questions? If not, I mean, that was record time. You still have technically 12 minutes left. So does anybody want to ask any questions at all? All right, perfect. Thank you so much for that report.
Thank you.
I wrote down a reminder about the audit survey too. So when we get that, we can spread the word to fill that out. Okay, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving down now to council requests. We have moved the University District update to the PIES agenda in January. So the next update is going to be Councilmember Kinnear, and she's going to talk about the 20-mile-per-hour parks resolution.
Great. Thank you for allowing me this time. And as you know, I will be brief to allow for questions. I want to give you just a little bit of a background on how this all started. It happened over 3 years ago. I worked with former council member Fagan and the PET committee to find a mutually agreeable solution for drivers speeding around parks. And this was before COVID. As you know, then 2020, we passed a resolution instituting a 2-year pilot, establishing a year-long 20-mile-per-hour speed limit around certain parks and park properties in response to COVID-19 and the increase in pedestrian visits to our city parks outside of the summer season. So you know that some parks, those seasonal signs went up and it was 20 miles an hour. And this was taking away that seasonal aspect and having it year-round. The pilot will end at the beginning of 2022, so we're still seeing high usage of city parks. And I think what happened is COVID has created some established patterns with people who are dog walking or taking their children to parks simply to get out of the house. Whether it's spring, summer, fall, winter, doesn't seem to matter. And while short-term enforcement of speed limits continues to be a challenge, we know the traffic unit was morphed into the patrol. The city-state legislative agenda includes requests for speed cameras around parks. Continuing the 20-mile-per-hour speed limit around certain parks, and those are the ones that we've already talked about, and they're in every district. It will help drivers acclimate to the lower speeds prior to potentially installing these speed cameras when legislature approves, and we hope they will. So ultimately, these two resolutions are asking streets to, number one, continue the year-round 20-mile-per-hour speed limit on streets adjacent to the parks that we've all identified at the expiration of the 2-year pilot project, and revert the speed limit along High Drive to 30 miles per hour, as was suggested by our streets department and asked for by Comstock Neighborhood. And to Mr. Cathcart's point earlier, have there been any kind of traffic studies? And that was part of the agreement, I thought, that we had when we instituted this, is there would be traffic studies so we could measure or have data around, are these speed limits really out of place, or should we adjust them? We don't have that data. So if streets would like that data, then let's do this for another year and actually measure what's going on around those parks. So I'd love to answer questions if anybody has them. Mr. Cathcart does. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm taking over.
Yeah, I would love to see a requirement put in there that we're going to do some measuring and monitoring of the speeds and collect that data. I know there was some pushback on that, I think, the last time, but I thought that there was kind of a commitment to at least do that, not as a part of the ordinance, but just as a part of routine business. And I'm not quite sure how much of that has been done or not, but hopefully we can put that in there. And I was just going to add, around Case Park, I brought this up the other night at the Bemis Neighborhood Council meeting, and a small group, but amongst that group, there was no opposition to maintaining the current speed limit. but there was some concern around where the signs have been placed and just making sure that they're maybe located a little bit better so that people have a better understanding of when the speed changes and can try to reduce their speed. So hopefully we can have a little more of a conversation with streets on sign placement, but that was their only concern, not around keeping it at 20.
So for us to move this out of committee, I will need somebody else to agree to sponsor.
And you can include me.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Perfect. Thank you, Councilmember Kinnear. Chris Becker. Chris Becker, I believe, is here with us. And
I am here.
We actually get to see and hear your update this month. So you got about 5 minutes, and go for it.
All right. Here we go. So we still continue to be busy in the DSC. Our permit activity is up about 12%. Single-family residents continue to be up around 60%. And our valuations overall are up 12% over last year. And we continue to see strong activity online permitting, with about 82% of our permits issued online. So we had about a $44 million month in November, and that puts our valuations year to date through the end of November at $597 million. So we have exceeded last year, which was our highest year on record, and we still have one more month to go. This is the valuations by project size, and we could see a good split there between the blue projects over $10 million, the orange projects are 1 to 10, and then see really healthy permitting in those smaller projects under $1 million there. This is the comparison of public and private funded. There was no change to this in the public funded. So everything we did last year was privately funded, last month was privately funded. This is the single family permit. So we're at 352. That was 34 issued in November. We had 33 come in, and those were mostly in 2 developments. We had a couple developers submit, 10 or 15 permits each in McCarroll's and Windhaven, so out there on Indian Trail. We currently have 30 permits in plan review, and 27, the plan review is complete, and we're just waiting for the fees to be paid, and those can be issued as well. And so this is the map showing the locations of all of those. And again, we will send this to you in email. I will send you the link to the Power BI so you can click on those. This is a multifamily, and there is an error on here. We've double counted 2 projects. One had multiple phases, and we counted the total number of permits in each. And then the second one was the permit was extended, and so the number of units got counted twice. And so that actual number is 691 that have been issued. And I'm working. I was trying to get that fixed this morning, but didn't quite get the data updated. So it will be fixed when the Power BI.
Could you pause here for a minute?
Sure.
I just want to make sure I'm seeing correctly. So 963.
That should be 691.
But still, that's more than in 2006. And okay, so we've outdone ourselves. Thank you.
And we still have quite a few. You can see we still have quite a few in review as well, quite a few units. We've been busy on the 3rd floor. All right, so here is the map for that. Again, that will be more interesting when you can actually click on those. So this is the largest project issued. There's been no changes since last month. This is the largest project in plan review, and the new one here is down here, the Experience Living at Spokane, which is a $25 million project at 5311 South Regal. It's 3-story memory care and assisted living community with associated site improvements. But the others are still the same. And then this is the largest in pre-development, and those are all the same as they were last month. And I think that is my last slide.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I'm just wondering, where are we at in terms of trying to hit that 2-week turnaround on permits?
We're doing pretty good. So we are continuing to use the third-party Safe Build for our residential plan review. So initially, they had only been doing our single family. They're doing single family. In addition, we've started giving them some of the multifamily. So they're reviewing the Falls Tower for us, Red Band Apartments out there by SFCC, and there's a couple other projects that they have. But we've been doing pretty good at hitting the 2 weeks for the residential.
Great. That's great to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any other questions? Chris, do you have anything else for us?
I don't.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll let you go. Thank you so much. Rick Giddings, you're up. And you're going to talk about the Green Fleet Sustainability Plan. You did send out information before the meeting, so I'm hoping everybody took a look at that. But go ahead.
Well, if you didn't take a look at it, you'll get another opportunity. Well, the goal today is just to simply submit this plan within the time frame set forth by Ordinance C 36036. So like you mentioned, I did mail out that link. There's also talking points in the packet here, so it'll give you a little bit more detail than what I'm going to give you today. I kind of pared this down to make it as quick as possible. So Frontier Energy and Fleet will give a more detailed presentation at PIES in January. That will give you some time to look at the plan, develop any questions you might have, and then hopefully allow us to have the new city council members present at that time too.
And Rick, we actually saved some time, so don't feel rushed.
Okay.
If you could do it 10, 15 minutes, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah, I won't need that much time.
Okay,
So
perfect.
I'll share the plan. And the plan, there it is. Okay, are you seeing the Green Fleet recommendations?
Yes. You see it?
Okay, so this first page is just the summary of recommendations. First one, switch to renewable diesel and renewable natural gas in 2023, or when those fuels are available. We can implement this immediately when these fuels become available and cost effective. This will dramatically lower our carbon footprint and allow us to use existing vehicles and fueling infrastructure. This should be used as a bridge until medium or heavy duty fuel cell or battery electric vehicles are available and viable. Second recommendation, all new vehicle purchases should be zero emission vehicles. If no EV or zero emission vehicle is available, the next best option would be diesel or CNG, which can run on renewable fuels. We should avoid the purchase of new gasoline vehicles whenever possible, since no renewable gasoline is likely to be available anytime soon. The third one, proactively and strategically employ high-powered DC fast chargers at the 2 hubs and level 2 chargers at other facilities as needed. This just will ensure us that we are ready for rapid deployment of these vehicles at those locations. And then reevaluate fleet electrification in 2025. Since it's difficult to predict things like when various zero-emission vehicles will be available, adoption of new technology, and the availability of funding, it is recommended we reevaluate vehicle electrification opportunities again in 2025. By then, many more battery and fuel cell electric vehicles should be commercially available and economically viable. Okay, so this one requires the most explanation. The rest of these kind of follow along in this format. Slide 2, this frame shows vehicles by type that would need to be replaced in 2022, by 2025, and by 2030. It also includes estimated capital costs and projected yearly operational savings. Of course, you can see $19 million in the next 4 to 5 years represents a significant increase over our historical vehicle replacement budget. There is a possibility of some grant funding as part of the infrastructure bill. But that said, given the state of the vehicle market and the current availability of viable zero-emission vehicles, even if we can come up with the budget for this, we will likely not be able to replace 494 vehicles with usable zero-emission vehicles in the next 4 to 5 years. So the functionality on the left shows us or allows us to prioritize replacement based on several factors. So as you can see in the upper left up here, CNG and diesel are unchecked. Of course, if you check those, it brings that price tag right up. But since we can use renewable diesel and renewable CNG in these vehicles, we're removing them from consideration for now. The sliders help us to prioritize so we know that we're not going to be able to buy all these vehicles right away. They don't exist in many cases. So this allows us to simulate keeping the vehicles longer as we wait for viable vehicles or budget to be available. So as you can see, if we extend vehicle life by 2 years, it drops the 4 to 5 year cost to around $13 million. Gets us a lot closer to our current annual vehicle replacement budget. This one right here allows us to remove from consideration vehicles that cost more to operate or don't provide significant savings compared to their internal combustion engines. So this negative number here represents vehicles with a total cost of ownership higher than internal combustion engines. So we move that slider, and it just gives us kind of a comparison to vehicles that are currently at a total cost of ownership that's at par with an internal combustion engine. So, and this green premium right here is a number. It's a relative cost of zero-emission vehicles to internal combustion engine vehicles. If the number is less than 1, the total cost of the zero-emission vehicle is less than the internal combustion engine. And then this number here, annual OPEX savings based on the criteria that we put in there. Yeah. This is the electric vehicles service equipment installations. This slide shows the location, quantity, and estimated cost for the chargers needed to meet the kilowatt-hour demand for the vehicle recommended. It's notable this is only projected out to 2025. The reason being that there's a lot of uncertainty about the future of vehicle and charging technology. For example, if future technology favors fuel cell electric vehicles, additional charging infrastructure won't be needed. Likewise, anticipated changes to battery capacity and charging speeds within this time frame will likely present opportunities to help us avoid the risk of stranded assets by making decisions prematurely. Slider on this one is also available, so we can pare it down. You can always click on anything and drill down by the location or the type of vehicle. Let's see, the estimated cost to install the minimum charging infrastructure is about $1.3 million. We may choose to install more level 2 chargers at strategic locations to avoid employee costs associated with multiple vehicles sharing charging space. So, and this is the EVSE deployment map. This map indicates our recommended sites for deployment of both level 2 and DC fast chargers. Bubble size indicates relative kilowatt-hour demand for domiciled vehicles. You can hover over the bubble to view details of that location. Biggest one here, of course, is police, and that gives you the location, the amount of kilowatt-hour demand, the number of vehicles that are domiciled there, all the information. This is just exclusions, and so this vehicle exclusion list includes all vehicles and equipment that is excluded from the analysis. It can be filtered by fuel type, replacement year, and reasons for exclusion. Most of this stuff is non-motorized trailers, the plows, some stuff that's already electric, but you can sort through that based on all the criteria. And then these next 3 slides, these are the transition planners, and we had them make this pretty robust. we really want to be able to pare this information down by a lot of different factors. And so this transition planner, the transition planners enable the city to evaluate fleet electrification scenarios by facility, department, vehicle type, unit number, et cetera. Sliders mentioned before can also be included in these frames, and you can click on any field to drill down by that category. These will allow us to provide specific customizable information to each department about budget, replacement, and fueling infrastructure planning. The expected reductions in greenhouse gas emissions are shown on the cards along the bottom. Also, the associated capital expenditures for both the vehicles and charging infrastructure, and the estimated operational savings. As you make changes to any of these, the changes are made, the values on the cards change accordingly. So that is all I have. Are there any questions?
Does anybody have questions or comments for Rick?
I was just going to say we're looking forward to seeing you back in January to talk more about it. Really appreciate all the work. It's great.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it too. And yeah, so as you look at it, feel free to call me or send me an email if you're looking at it and you need some answers.
Okay, if there are no questions, thank you, Rick. We appreciate it. That is our agenda for today. Does anybody have anything they need to talk about, bring up before we adjourn? Councilmember Cathcart.
I was just going to point out, we combined basically two committees into this one, and we're getting done an hour early. Can we just be this efficient every month?
We can talk about it.
That's all I got.
Councilmember, I didn't think that I could stay to the timelines, but Councilmember Kinnear, told me that I needed to watch because it was going to be really, really packed. So I'm glad that we got it all in and we have time to spare. Okay, anything else? Does anybody have anything on the consent agenda that they want to talk about? We didn't hear anything from people.
Nope, it's too late. They have to do it the Friday before. Don't set a bad example.
I like to leave it open.
Yep.
All right.
Awesome job, Councilmember Stratton.
I think we're done. We'll see everybody at 3:30, and we'll meet everybody again in Urban Experience in January. Thanks.